Peace, family. 19 Keys tapping in one time. Oh, y'all see this? I got this as a gift. I did not be showing none of my paintings, but I got that one as a gift. I'm just adjusting my lights before I get to talking here. As you can see, I just converted this office to a quick studio. Shit, I got a lot of stuff in here. I don't really use a lot. But I would suggest everybody convert an office into a studio. Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. Got some of my paintings on the wall. It's hard to see that one. But this one I did. It's probably the last painting I completed just on something fun. You feel me? You feel me? Got the 3 black gods up there. It ain't all the way finished. Then I did this one. You know I had to put Black Jesus up there, one of his angels and all of that. You feel me? Got Supermind. I bought this rostrum right here. It lights up because I developed a philosophy called Keyism. You feel me? Yeah. It's the Wazir quarters, man. So that's when I'm going to be up there preaching my philosophy. Then this one is this is my thought leader chair. You feel me? This the revolutionary chair. This is my content chair. So when I'm talking to y'all about content like I'm about to right now, I got to hop in this director chair as an ultimate creator. Because as one of the top creators in the world, you feel me? I got to speak to y'all from this chair right here as I'm directing vision. And then over here, you feel me? This the studio. As you can see, I got one of them Newman mics. This ain't one of them mics to play with. You feel me? Yeah. So we need more stuff in the studio. So if you got some suggestions or products, let me know. Specifically, like my brother, he got one of these good toys right here, which I find fly. I'm actually going to make me a 19 Keys version of this. I love it. But we got different cameras, which I don't use this one enough. This is my social media camera, right? So this one actually is a portable one that connects directly to social media feeds. I suggest creators get this one. Then I got 2 different lights. I actually don't need both of them, but these are 2 different rigs up here, right? So I can connect these, one at a higher level. Then I got this pole. This is called a very pole. You feel me? Connect this to this camera. Then if I want 2 angles, I got this one. Then if I want to get some paparazzi, we got the larger camera. Right? So all of these are necessary. Then of course, you know, the paintings and all of that. And I got more. I ain't gonna show y'all all of them. You feel me? But it's necessary to have you a setup. It's $1 billion setup right here. Then, of course, I got my library over here. There's a lot going on over there right now. And then I installed these walls in the background because I wanted to make sure we had like a neutral, futuristic look. You feel me? So I installed these myself. I needed an office. You feel me? And as I'm going in my creative mode, you can see I'm letting my beard out a little bit. But we're going to chop that up in a minute. So, all right, I put out a poll yesterday asking people, you say I ain't got no fresh air. I definitely do. We just don't need to open it up because we got windows right here. We got 3 windows, actually. And there's actually another window behind me. I just covered it up. But, yeah, no, we don't need no open air because right now there's construction outside the house and we don't want it to be too loud in here. The whole goal is to like enclose it. And then when you're setting up your studio, right, you can utilize natural light, but you want to be able to cut it all the way off so that you can actually control the light that's inside your studio. You feel me? But anyway, I wanted to talk to you all about some ideas of where I think content is going in the future, right? So the content game is changing. I don't know if you all seen an update yesterday with OpenAI. So OpenAI released a new image model, right, that allowed the images to be a lot better, right? Almost instantaneously better than everything else that was on the market, right? And there was this anime Ghibli style, which is based on this anime that everybody was utilizing, and it started going viral. But the dangerous thing is that I think the worst use case of AI is doing what everybody else is doing. That's the worst use case of AI. And graphic designers are at heavy risk right now, because if you was a graphic designer just yesterday and people were paying you to do things, you feel me, you could get fired today because somebody wouldn't need you anymore. And this is the danger of a job right now, right? Versus relying on your skill sets to partner and build with other people. So like as a graphic designer, you could partner with somebody, right? And you essentially say, hey, I am a super master skilled graphic designer. I would love to partner with your business. Because I've had people that I work with that was charging me thousands of dollars to make thumbnails. So I decided to make them myself. And they would be slow and the revisions would come slow, right? So we learned how to master that skill for ourselves. And, you know, like a lot of the thumbnails I just make myself, literally. And this is before the advent of all of the new AI tools and things of that nature. So, you know, understanding how to do that now is super easy because I've helped train the team as well to be able to curate how to create the type of images, but more so understanding the language of it, which is more in this, it becomes more important than having just the skill, right? Understanding the philosophy and the language of it itself. I meant to say comment tour, tickets to Boston. Let me put Boston up there. But this is like super key right now. Because right now, a lot of people do not understand the content game and where it is going. And if they did, right, they will be changing your plans as far as you being a business owner. Right? If you as a better business owner would understand AI on a whole nother level, because you'll be focused on how do I get to a point of understanding, right, the skill set versus just having it. So as a photographer, the photography language is going to be the difference of you being able to utilize it in a way that somebody else can't, right? Being a director, right, is extremely important because you can understand the nuance of storytelling, right? And now listen, I've been teaching this for the last 6-7 years now, putting on my list as the most important skill sets. But now we've arrived to that day. And those who didn't listen, of course, they're scrambling. And the world is changing faster than minds can keep up, which is part of our tour in the first place, right? Giving people the keyism. It's the philosophy of how to evolve, right, in a changing world, right? And the framework on what to do throughout that time. We embrace technology specifically only when we can master it and own it. We don't embrace technology that we don't own and can't master. Otherwise, it uses us while we think we're using it, right? You say, Jesus love me? Man, shout out to Jesus. I love Jesus too. Big Jesus fan. That's what's up. You feel me? But right now, this whole AI thing, man, is interesting because I don't think people really understand the time that we're living in and how important it is. I think like 90% of like black media just focuses on distracting you. They're actually your enemy. And I hate to say it like that, but they are actually your enemy. But it makes them money, so who cares? It's elitism. As long as I can capitalize off your ignorance and make my family money, I can justify turning you a slave, right? As long as I make money. Isn't that what we all say in the culture anyway? Right? As long as I can justify making money off you, then it's all good. But if we was to literally go look at the top black media in the culture, you know, besides myself, somebody who has a platform with millions and millions of subscribers, you know, it's not too many people that have a platform. You know, you got like Trevor Noah, Breakfast Club, you know what I'm saying? You got the Wall Street Trappers of the world. You know, there's some more platforms out there. Some like us, some disagree with us, right? We are at a disadvantage again with that as well because we use our platforms to try to tear each other down while building ourselves up, right? There's no collectivism within it. So the reason I say most of black media is your But the reason I say black media is your enemy, and not all the black media, of course, I'm speaking on this specific part of how we use it. It can be shifted. So you got to look at it. Most of, and I'm going to share y'all this chart real quick. Most of like what they call right-wing media, right? There was a chart that came out from Media Matters today, and it was showing that they have most of the subscribers and influence, right? So so-called left-wing media doesn't have as much influence as right-wing. Why? Because collectively they have more subscribers and followers, right? And more views, which means that becomes the world, right? Literally, quite literally, the Joe Rogans, right, of the world, the Lex Friedmans of the world, the, valuetainments of the world. That becomes the world because they push ideas that they believe in. So if there's a political candidate who is also representing those ideas, right, then of course that person is going to be elected because his constituency is watching right-wing shows. So it makes the most sense, right? Yeah, Candace Owens, right? So this is how you get, of course, a Donald Trump in office, and how you easily beat Kamala because they're controlling independent media, and they respected independent media earlier, right, and understood the value of it. Then you got left-wing media, right? Breakfast Club is considered to be left-wing media because of their support to Kamala. Then you got like the Trevor Noahs, right, of the world and things of that nature, and some other ones, but they have less followers, right? And less reach, and that's across all platforms, right? So this is important to understand. Like, it's more important to have multiple platforms that you utilize, from Instagram to YouTube to Twitter, right, to Facebook. All of these matter, right? Because then you have the ability where people are reading your texts, watching your long form videos, checking out your short form commercials. So Instagram would be your short form commercials. YouTube would be your long form, right? That's like when people go to church on Sundays, right? Those are the real parishioners. So YouTube is like church because people will sit there and listen to a whole sermon. And during that, they connect to you, right? Or just like the movie theaters, right? That's where the stars are really made, right? But then you also have this opportunity now to where you look at somebody like Ashton Hall, to where he's becoming super famous. He doesn't have any long form content. He has short form content that can go make quantum leaps and go super viral. But before that, he already had, millions of followers. But again, beyond the short form content, right, there's not much other content for people to tap into, but that's fine because the short form becomes an instant funnel, but it doesn't become extreme influence. So when you have long form content is where you have the most influence because people are spending the longer time with your content, right? Short form content is a great funnel, but people are losing their attention. So short form content works really well to have chronicles. So let's say if I broke high level conversations up and instead of giving y'all 3 hours, I give y'all parts. Right, part 1, and I say maybe you pay for part 2 if you like the first part of the video. Then it's a part 3, a part 4, a part 5. You know what I'm saying? Part 6, right? And people are looking at this more so episodic, which is also the way you should be creating your content, in an episodic way. You feel me? To where people are watching you like a channel. Now, I put this in a book that I had called 19 Seeds of Content, maybe 6 years ago, where I gave a breakdown, right, on all the 19 C's of content, how to build your character, to your channel, to your content funnels, right, to the creativity, to the consistency. I just broke it all the way down, and it just happened to be that I can utilize C's to do it. And so now people are catching up to that model that I've been operating on, this framework, for years and years and years, right? But when you talk about influence, like you got shows like Shay Shay, he doesn't truly have influence because people don't listen to him for political content, right? So therefore, nobody's going to Shay Shay and saying, I'm going to, choose my political candidate because I heard something on this show. Now, what he did have right, was Cat Williams, who went on there and created a moment. But black media, we care more so about utilizing our media against each other, right? Because we're afraid if we use it against anybody other than each other, then we won't be able to monetize it. But it's easy for LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith to go at each other, and black media will pick up that story, circulate it, talk about it, right? But when it's Jaylen Brown talking about the NBA agents, right, black media won't talk about that, right, because they're afraid. So we don't mind saying, oh, Jaylen Brown said something about LeBron James, even though he didn't, right? But that's when you get Sports Illustrated, MSN, right? Clutch Sports. They all pick up and say LeBron shaded or Jaylen shaded LeBron, but he did not. He was just talking about the business. Yeah, I did. Listen, somebody said I commented on LeBron laughing my ass. I did laugh. I'm not going to lie. You know, like it is what it is. I think when LeBron, I think that at some level it's okay to like, we have some back and forth when it's like comedy. But what I'm saying is that it's going too far, right? When I see you make light of something, like Stephen A. Smith says that he would have socked LeBron. All right, that's funny. It's sports, it's entertainment, I get it. And then LeBron posted a video of Stephen A. Smith punching, right? That was funny to me, right? I'm not going to erase my laugh. But the bigger picture in all of it is like, damn, after your monkey brain reacts to something, your higher level, your neo taps in and start thinking like, wait a minute. This is actually whack that you got these two men, right, who have hundreds of millions of dollars going at it. And they have some of the largest influence in the world. And what they're going at it for is something that men that are masculine can easily sit down and have a conversation about and move forward. So either you intentionally want to beef for no reason, when that's literally a conversation, right? Like anytime somebody got a problem with me, 9 out of 10, I'm going to send them my number. And I'll be like, let's communicate. Because what I realize is that this social media things get out of hand and black men have to learn how to communicate. You feel me? Like LeBron and Stephen A. Smith could have that conversation, right, that they had in public and then have another one in private, come to a conclusion, a respectful understanding, and move forward and set an example on how other men should handle their conflicts. Like respect and salute for LeBron for walking up to Steven, checking to where he felt like he was defending his son. I'll probably do something like that as well. Then I want to have a follow-up, be like, listen, man, I ain't even trying to turn this into something where the media gets to turn this into a circus and pit us against each other. I know you got a job. I'm going to do what I do. But behind the scenes, like, let's have respect so these things don't go out of hand. You feel me? And the narrative doesn't become about me and you going at each other, but instead we get to utilize our influence in a different kind of way. That's powerful, right? That's simple conversations that you can have. I get it. But I understand that, yes, you're correct, Transformer. Conflict and capitalism are lovers. They do go together. These things, the current America feeds off of conflict, emotional turmoil. That's what this current world feeds off of, right? So I understand that black media is extreme capitalism, and we're not using it for its real projected power. The real projected power is its ability to tell stories and shape narrative. That's our real power. Everybody knows this. But it's a reason why black platforms that report on sports, they're not going to talk about Jaylen Brown talking about the agent models and how players are losing their money. Even though they talk about sports, everything else that go in sports. If LeBron would have said something like or if Jaylen would have said something like F LeBron and Stephen A. Smith, and man, they all would be talking about it right now. They'd all be talking about it right now. So when it's something that could be a positive influence and bring awareness to an issue, then why is black media intentionally and purposely not talking about it? Not that it's not going to get views. It's because it's going to get views if they talk about it. Because you turn it into a larger issue. You force a conversation. The conversation becomes the advocacy based on the awareness, right? And things are then forced to change. That's the power. You know, when you're paid not to, you're afraid to. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to leave people out to hang. That's called gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is saying that we won't talk about what y'all talk about, so it makes it seem like what y'all talk about is radical. Because if everybody talks about it, it's normal. That's how gatekeeping works. That they control subject matter. Because if everybody is speaking on it, then everybody has the excuse of saying, well, they talked about it, it's going viral. That's what I'm talking about. It's my job. So gatekeeping works by controlling subject matter, conversations, and deciding what becomes news and what doesn't. So black media is our biggest gatekeeper. So like we can complain about Elon on X. Y'all mad at Elon and Donald Trump? No, I think that the onus should go to black media. I've never seen a Joy Reid talk about Earn Your Leisure. I mean, like high-level conversations. Maybe she talked about Earn Your Leisure. I don't know. But we only talk about what we think is safe to white folks. That's all. I've never seen a Trevor Noah speak on the platform. Never seen it. Breakfast Club has. Respect and salute. They really one of the only large-scale platforms that does it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rest of them, they only do it because it's extremely popular. But they're not trying to move no needle. They only do it when it's extremely, which means that it's the safest, which means that it requires no integrity. It requires no courage. It requires nothing for you to do it. That's nothing. Talking about popular topics that's easy. Oh yeah, Sway, of course, Sway. Come on, man. Sway from the town, man. You know Sway gonna hold it up and down. You know what I'm talking about? Like, Sway different. He always been the one. You feel me? Elliot Wilson, what's his name? Elliot Wilson. He ain't gonna talk about it. He a gossip queen more so. He ain't gonna talk about real stuff. Because he don't want things to become normal. He don't want more kings to challenge the throne. I get it. We, black media, are the ones that create the gatekeeping culture and make black America unsafe. Now, white media does what they're supposed to do. If there's an idea they believe in, they will push it. Oh yeah, Joe Budden, he's had EYL up there. He's had Trapper up there. I know they spoke on me a few times. They talk about it, and now they got Mark Lamont Hill up there. I respect it. I respect that. Because Mark Lamont is intelligent enough to elevate the conversation when necessary. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I know white is a status, but they know how to understand the membership of the club called white. You can't be mad at them because white people have a belief that they want to, there's a saying, you get money, like I see Rashad tweet this, number one rules, don't lose any money. As a white person, number one rule would be don't lose any power. Think about that. If you're a person of power, why would you want to lose your power?